Hi, this is Frank Scoletti. I'm a construction project consultant for the North Carolina Community College, and this is a preview of uh, a session we're going to do at the Building Careers Enhancement Project conference at Pitt Community College, uh, who is spearheading the construction enhancement project, and that'll take place in early June. Uh, Todd Roth is also going to be um, co-coordinating on this. Todd serves as a program coordinator for construction programs for the community college system. So the community college system uh, was awarded pandemic recovery funds. Some of the funds were used to create boot camps that are ongoing. They began in 2023 and completed in 2023. And there's 14 colleges also um, offering those boot camps in 2024, and those have been very successful. Those involved 8-week uh, short-term training and to individuals. There's uh, we're working along with Carolina's AGC, Association of General Contractors, to accomplish that, and it's been successful. People are completing that program and entering into construction careers or continuing in ongoing education. So that's worked very nicely. There's a huge need for construction workers in North Carolina, as there is with many Sunbelt states. There's a lot of building going on and a lot of openings that need to be filled. The other part of the project is creating our curriculum programs in construction. On the slide before you, you'll see a street view of a small house. Happens to be my brother's house, Mike's house in California, uh, and perhaps you could tell by the very low sloping roof. It's like a 112 pitch or so. They don't get much rain out there, and it's a small house, probably only $500,000 or so. He lives in Riverside, California, just east of LA, and 850 square foot house. They simply want to put on an addition of master bedroom and bath and to move a few things around in the interior of their house, relocate their kitchen. And to do that involves so many different parts of a construction uh, project and specialties and expertise in different areas, even though it's such a small addition. They have to consider so many things up front, and if they don't get that right in the beginning, certainly things aren't going to turn out right. So there's the HVAC component, the electrical, um, and there's the plumbing. The new drains will be required, new vent pipes, and new supply uh, pipes. There's going to be uh, the addition of a additional roof on that part of the house, and that has to meet new standards for insulation in that part of California. And because of that, they have to insulate the rest of the whole roof for the whole house, and the roof being the ceiling of the house is really the roof. There's no attic in the house. They'll have to um, do some uh, something like add rake-core structural insulated panels, or it will become a bigger project. So all these things have to be considered, and along similar to that with the enhancement project, there's also uh, a variety of programs that we're considering, and there's the architectural design, of course, that has to be the pre-design that needs to kind of lay things out. So that's what we're trying to do here, is to make certain we lay everything out correctly from the beginning, and so we can get done what we'd like to get done and make improvements. So the objective of this particular project uh, has uh, um, some common things that occur with curriculum enhancement projects, such as faculty professional development, uh, where they need to consider new technologies and new developments in the trade. Um, there's local, state, and national initiatives, sometimes that we'd like to align with or should align to or may impact our programs. There's the student interest, student and parent interest in the programs that we'd like to fill the programs as much as we can and have people interested in them. Uh, it's quite often a challenge with career and tech education programs to get individuals in these good programs uh, that are associated with great careers. And then there's the networking component of faculty getting together and sharing ideas and talking to their colleagues about how they do things and learning from one another. That's always important. Um, and what's unique to this project, and probably why Todd and I are involved, is it's there's a different component that normally doesn't occur during enhancement projects or curriculum improvement projects, and that's the requirement of updating and aligning credit and short-term workforce development and and aligning with industry recognized credentials in construction technologies and workforce continuing education courses. And that was communicated from the State Board of Community Colleges. And so it's important we look at that very thing. So the deliverables, if we're to accomplish that, is aligning CU and workforce continuing ed with industry credentials. Um, that may require new and or revised courses, and certainly there'll be new and or revised courses that um, aren't aimed at that specific thing, but this is the uniqueness of the courses we're talking about with the industry certifications and alignment to those. There's a new and or revised curriculum standard for construction programs. And it's important to know that the faculty are going to be the voting members. They have to determine if the courses are right. They have the expertise, and they will put together a course packet or a program packet where new courses, revised courses are submitted, and perhaps a curriculum standard revision or a new curriculum standard, and they'll determine that by vote, and then those courses that are submitted will be sent out to colleges offering the programs for their vote, and so it's important that that the deliverables are acceptable to those offering the programs, and those then, if they're voted favorably by the colleges, those courses will go to the Curriculum Course Review Committee, and the program standards will go to the State Board of Community College for their approval. So uh, academic vice presidents and college presidents will weigh in on these things as well as state board members. Well, there's obviously many considerations, just like we were talking about with building the home, and we need to get them right up front. And the most important, obviously, is our faculty. Uh, they have a tough job. We don't want to uh, spring things on faculty. Often takes 5 years to get all your lesson plans um, completed, and um, you don't. They certainly don't need changes that will benefit their programs, and so the faculty are core to the whatever design features are submitted. There's course and program submissions, programming and curriculum program standards that get voted on. There's outcomes that are related to the impact we have on high school and workforce continuing ed students and others as they uh, hopefully transition into our program. So, current college promise is a big dual enrollment program, and how could the programs benefit by whatever decisions are made? Um, and then how will those deliverables, courses, and the program standard changes, how will those be perceived by significant decision makers, such as we mentioned before, the curriculum course review committee that's got academic VPs and presidents on that committee, and the State Board of Community College, the Workforce Development Leadership Committee, that's our workforce continuing ed folks, and college leaders, even legislature. Those they are the ones that instructed that the money be put into the construction programs and various initiative leaders. So, all important to consider. And then, of course, when we're putting a building in, the building foundation is critical. We've got to get that right, and developing courses to meet those objectives will sit on a solid foundation if we do that correctly. So, which industry certifications would be appropriate to construction programs? And when you ask that question in construction, I think NCCER is considered the nationally recognized industry credential for construction. Um, NCCR is the National Center for Construction Education and Research. Um, Workforce Continuing Ed is utilizes NCCR constructions in their certificates, and they're moving to do way more in that field. Um, I'm sure we'll see more and more changes in that direction. Um, the Department of Public Instruction requires NCCR curriculum to be utilized in their high school programs, and many students have received certifications in the NCCER core curriculum, which is basic safety, print reading, um, tool usage, and kind of entry level stuff into the construction industry, as well as different levels of construction certifications that we'll look at momentarily. The North Carolina Workforce Credentials lists the NCCR construction certifications as the certifications that are prominent to the construction industry. And so we're going to talk about how we could develop NCCR aligned construction courses that can serve as pathways from these various entities, such as Workforce Continuing Ed. The folks in the boot camps, for example, use the NCCR core uh, in their uh, in their courses, in their course actually, and individuals exiting often get certifications that, uh, if they're interested in ongoing instruction, how do they ramp into our curriculum programs from that position? DPI, certainly we have to. Most of our students come from the high schools, and we want to make certain we align with them the best we can. And industry folks that are looking to us for professional development and for ongoing education. So we also have to look at the curriculum standard. The standard is where the courses are listed and the requirements of the standard that everyone across the state, all of our construction programs have to meet in regarding different majors, but we have one construction program that's got several majors and sure common technical core. So how do we build optional? Well, it's recommended that we build an optional certification track into the curriculum standard, um, because that'll allow colleges to utilize either what they're um, doing now without forcing faculty to change, or to add on new courses um, that align to industry certifications if they want to. And so the making the changes or revising the standard or the courses, if we build them as optional and faculty have the choice, they could uh, they could certainly choose that or not to choose that. So it wouldn't necessarily negatively impacted them if they chose not to, or if they wanted to choose a course, for example, it might have minimum impact on what they're doing, and that's significant. Um, and so we can explore examples of the curriculum standards that have embedded certifications because they're out there, and um, I assisted with those particular uh, program standards. And we'll take a look at those in a second. And we can look at various curriculum courses that align to industry recognized certifications and see what they look like. So here is an example of the curriculum standard with NIM certification track. And this has been a dozen or so years ago when we had a program called machining technology, and we wanted to upgrade that program, perhaps change the title to be more indicative of what actually occurs in machining these days, which is a lot of numerical control or CNC machining. And within the core of the curriculum, you'll see that we've got a group of courses in here, a certification track, and those courses were developed. I actually wrote them out and took the NIM certification for uh, some of the foundational core skills and group them together. And so these courses exist in the combined course library, and they're on the curriculum standard as an option. These courses grouped together would be equivalent to the courses above them. So if you took any of these, either the machining technology one or machining application group of courses, you'd have sort of similar outcomes as far as competencies. And there are more courses in there. We labeled them 171, 172, 173 because those course numbers aren't used that often, and we put most of the certification courses in that numbering uh, regimen, which helps folks to find them if they're looking for a particular certification course. And that worked out well for the machining folks. Not everybody uses them. They would submit programs of study that I'd approve over the years. I worked at the system office for 16 years, and I'd see them coming across, and some colleges would use those courses, but not all colleges, so it was a great option. The next one, the next curriculum standard is um, for the transportation folks. NATEP is the National Auto Technicians Educational Foundation, and DPI a couple years ago decided they didn't want the higher level automotive courses. It was um, required a lot of equipment and expertise, significant time on task and stuff to meet the credential requirements for the NATEF. And so NATEF developed a few lower level foundational uh, whole program really. So they moved from having 8 specific automotive certifications to offering 2 credentials that are, one is chassis maintenance and light repair, and the other is the powertrain maintenance and light repair. And by light repair, that's what they mean. They um, these are more foundationals. The students then can complete these at the high school level and then ramp into uh, hopefully one of our programs that have full ASC or NATEP certifications that are, arguably more complex and require more time on task. And so we developed these two courses. We simply embedded them in the core of the program, and colleges can choose those if they want to. You can see it's only one of these courses are required on the curriculum standard, so it's up to colleges to determine which courses they want. And if they want to offer those, might be good for career and college promise students, or they can go along with their traditional track of 8 higher level certification areas, which is the other option that they have. There's a program we created under public safety called Public Safety Administration. This is the newest one we worked on, and I work with the criminal justice um, folks at the state level. They wanted their uh, basic law enforcement officer or their law enforcement officers to have an opportunity for professional development that included a more diverse curriculum in BLET. It was a requirement for law enforcement officers in North Carolina, and that's a certificate program. And they felt that individuals on the job that had more educational background in general became better decision makers. So as they wanted to expand that educational background, we worked with them to create a program, not just a program, but a program that's got PST courses. Those are public safety training courses, and they're listed on the bottom of the curriculum standard. And those courses are really mechanisms. They're not courses students enroll in, but they're mechanisms for awarding credits. So those individuals could take any public safety training that is documented and meets the right level of training that they can take through their local agencies, through our community college, first continuing ed courses, um, and any other training uh, that is directly related to their uh, field of study, and they can provide that, transcript that, and and get credit for that. So they get a rolling start, if you will, on an associate's degree that they might use for professional development to move from um, a police officer or a firefighter into a managerial role, into a professional track. And so these PST courses, there's a couple dozen at least of them that just are a mechanism for awarding credit. And it's very unique. I don't think anyone nationally has done that, but we came up with this solution. And it's another way of taking industry credentials, that's information they learn out, uh, not just from the community college system, but from various entities. And they can hold that into this program, get awarded credit that aligns to their specific major. So we consider our construction programs. We have more than a dozen uh, majors uh, on this side of the slide. Um, we have um, we're probably best off focusing on certain programs under the NCCR catalog that lists various programs. For example, carpentry, construction craft labor, construction technology, the core curriculum, which is the basic prerequisite to all these different program areas, masonry, plumbing, weatherization. We do have standalone programs for electrical and HVAC, and some other construction-related programs. But we're just going to focus on the programs that reside under a common career cluster. And I'll show you what that looks like. So this is our uh, cluster type curriculum standard, meaning it kind of aligns under a career cluster, which is the broad organizational structure of career clusters and pathways. And we have several program majors under that cluster, and we look at things like sustainability and building design and things like that. But these are all program majors under one common career curriculum standard. Now, here's the curriculum standard for those program areas that we'd like to look at. They all share a common technical core, meaning we feel that every student going through the program should have some of these very basic skills or the most important skills that could be shared amongst all these programs. And that was determined during a Code Green Super SIP several years ago. Um, and Colleges can use, depending on whether it's an associate degree, diploma, or certificate, a combination of those courses. And here's an example of what the technical core of that program standard could look like. Here's those same courses. We've taken the green building and design concepts and put it down under certification courses. So by adding this group of certification courses, we extend the options colleges have to offer sort of a track like with the machining program, only there's more options here. Obviously, there's more courses because this is more diverse curriculum standard. It's not just a standalone single program. It's got several majors under that common career cluster. And so we've added the basic construction skills course that was numbered, or that course is WOL 110 as it is now, Wheels of Learning, but that's the NCCER core curriculum in the form of a curriculum course. That what should be changed to be a CST course, and if we align to that, putting all the certification courses under the numbers 170 to 179, then we'd put those courses, numbered those, at least the certification courses using those numbers. And so how do we get from the NCCR curriculum that offers uh, different majors and different competencies that are relating to different programs? How do we get those into our curriculum courses? Well, I pulled all the information out of their curriculum catalog and have done what I did with the NIMS and the NATEF is just to align, make certain their competencies are included in our 3-sentence course description, and then align the hours of the program up to our contact hours. Here's an example of a construction craft laborer. That's one of their program areas. Um, they list the amount of hours here on the left-hand side. 175 hours includes the core. Well, if the core curriculum that's required of all their program areas is 82 and a half hours, 82.5. So we subtract that from the 175 hour requirement. We end up with 92.5 hours. So we will align our hours, the amount of hours offered, the contact hours in each course to that using the same kind of methodology. I took all the major competencies here that they list and included those in the second sentence of our course descriptions, so that the competencies would be the same. So we're matching up the time and matching up the competencies. And let's see what that looks like. So here's the course for construction labor that aligns to their construction labor curriculum, CST 171. And for the second sentence, where we explain what's someone going to learn in this course, what are the competencies, these competencies align to those highlighted areas under their description, such as emphasis is placed on building materials, fasteners, concrete differential leveling, foundations, and slab on grade. So obviously, these individuals will learning to how to uh, put down concrete and use building materials, fasteners, etc. Uh, a pretty practical thing for people entering at the entry level to a construction program. And then those hours we talked about, the hours that are going to be required uh, for that particular curriculum um, were 92.5. And here we have our hours, uh, lab hours, lecture hours, lab hours, and semester hours of credit. Lab hours are either a 2-to-1 or 3-to-1 ratio. We're going to use 2-to-1 on this particular course because it matches our needs. And if we use a 2-to-1 ratio, we add 2 hours of lecture, which equates to 2 semester hours of credit. It's a 1-to-1. And then this would equate to 2 hours because it's a 2-to-1 ratio for labs. So we award credit at. So we'd get 2 plus 2, and that would equal the 4 semester hours of credit. The contact hours are uh, determined by adding the lab and lecture. These are the amount of hours a student's going to spend in a course. So 2 plus 4 is 6, and we multiply that times 16 because we have 16-week semesters, and we'll end up with 96 hours, and that's listed down here. And so that 96 hours is enough time to meet the 92.5-hour requirements of that particular certification area. If we look at the construction technology, this is another page out of their catalog. Uh, Construction technology is just one, there's only one level. Often we see levels. I didn't mention on the construction craft labor, there were 2 levels. I only created a course for one level because the second level I didn't feel aligned with typically what we might do in community college, working from heights, building scaffolding to heights and things like that. Were I thought was probably something colleges weren't doing, but the second level could, we could build a course for that if colleges thought they might use it. Here, there's no level. It's only one big program, and there's 427.5 hours, including the core. So once again, if we take the core away from this, we'll get the hours that construction technology requires. And when we do that, we get 345 hours. And then we have all these competencies that are required highlighted. They go into additional detail, but we're only going to take the highlighted components out of there and embed that into our course description. And so we have to meet the hours and we have to meet the competencies. Um, so what that resulted was the creation of 3 courses. I think that's what we ended up with, 3 courses. Sometimes we ended up with 4 or 5 courses, um, and and I graded them all, so they'd be there even though you may only use 1 or 2, if any at all, the lower level courses. Uh, they could all be put in the combined course library, uh, and if somebody want to go through the whole program, they could. So anyway, the construction technology, uh, the courses can't have the same title as any courses in the combined course library. And here's the hours. If we add up the contact hours, the 2 plus the 6, the 8 and the 8 and the 6, we think we 8, 16, 22 hours. We multiply that times 16, we'll come up with um, 300 and uh, I think 52 hours. And that meets 345 hours that the curriculum is designed to be offered, that time frame to be offered in. And so that's done. The competencies are built into the course descriptions, and uh, I actually I didn't have to I didn't have to put any level in here. The levels are important, so we can kind of identify them. You'll see that with some of the other courses. There's no levels of this. It's one big program, although in other areas they uh, offer it in different levels. Here's another example, uh, general carpentry courses. They have this general carpentry curriculum, um, that's kind of a shorter version of the big carpentry curriculum and kind of more basic. And uh, the general carpentry has one level, and I've broken that into 2 courses because of the time frame. It was too big for, I thought, too big for um, one course. It was 247.5 hours, and taking away the core, we ended up with 165 hours. And so here we have 5 contacts or 80 total hours for a 16-week semester. 80 plus 80 is 160. So we're right there, close to what their requirement of 165 hours. And then the competencies are kind of similar because it's one level, but we've broken it up into 2 courses. Um, the next area are the carpentry courses, and carpentry is a big area. Um, uh, it's got 4 different levels, and so that was kind of challenging. So um, laid out the hours, laid out the course descriptions, uh, use the titles that they use so we can identify it with the certification, and there's more of these carpentry courses. I just put 3 of them on there because they'd fit on the screen and give you an idea of what they might look like, and then use the co-requisites so you could offer them at the same time if you wanted to, and number them with that 170s scenario. Uh, Created a bunch of masonry courses. Masonry is not offered that often, but here they are. Uh, not often, not offered at too many of our colleges, I should say, but certainly a great career track. And um, we created various levels and identifiers within there. I use the terminology level 1 in the course description or level 2 so that faculty would know to go back to the catalog to match this with a particular NCCR curriculum. We had to have some sort of identifier, and I put those identifiers in there, and split some of the courses into 2 pieces because the curriculum was so large at each different level that they offer. And so I split the curriculum, the courses into two, so there wouldn't be huge course hours, which makes it hard, especially for career and college promise, to offer those on your schedule. Did the same. Plumbing is another big uh, curriculum area with lots of hours. Um, broke that down into, and they offer them at various levels. Um, and so we have level one and level two and level 2B, if you will. Had to break those out if there was too many hours in the various things. So they have multiple levels. Carpentry was 4 levels. Masonry is 3 levels and that's how they lay it out in their catalog. And so align the competencies like we did with the other courses, and uh, made sure the hours added up to the total hours for the program. Uh, and I believe that was 480 hours. And I believe some of the large programs like carpentry and masonry and construction, those are, from what I understand, were created with apprenticeship in mind. So I believe apprenticeship requires 144 hours of training per year. So they wanted to create that curriculum that would meet the needs of that education requirement for a particular construction program area with a registered apprenticeship, and would serve as the curriculum for that. And then there's weatherization and energy auditing, which are seem to be pretty big these days. We created a sustainability technology program curriculum several years back during the Code Green curriculum improvement project. Found out that most of those courses really applied to construction area, and so uh, I didn't create any courses for this. Um, it happens that their uh, construction core plus just some additional training and introduction to weatherization. Just a 17 and a half hours would equate to what they consider the fundamentals of weatherization. And then you could take a track to uh, building auditor, energy auditor, or into the weatherization leadership or supervisory track, and listed on that list of courses in the curriculum standard that you saw several slides ago. I just pulled those courses down and thought colleges could just embed these into the courses so that we already have in our combined course library, and that would be the way to go about that. And perhaps that's what you already do with some of the certification courses, as embed them into courses you already offer. Um, so that's always a possibility, and I thought we'd just leave it at that. So hopefully the course packet that I created can be used and will be useful to you, even as an option. It would be a good deliverable for the curriculum course review committee, for new faculty coming in, perhaps that wanted to run their program that way, or existing faculty that'd like to utilize it as an option. And those courses would be put on a course submission form. You'd have to vote on those to see if make certain that everybody's on board. That would be sent out to colleges for a vote, along with curriculum standard. And then if they were voted favorably, they'd go to the Curriculum Course Review Committee and to the state board for their approval. So they're done. I mean, they certainly could be looked at and modified if necessary and all that, but I think the most of the work there has been done. I've worked on those similar courses with during other uh, SIP type projects, and I thought that it'd be very difficult for faculty that get together intermittently, like during an enhancement project, uh, to actually put all that together. It certainly took a while, and so I was happy to do it, and thought it'd be helpful, and hopefully it is useful to you. So, any uh, any further discussion that you'd like to have with Todd or me? There's a contact uh, information. Be glad to talk more about it or to um, uh, make adjustments where necessary and that sort of thing. Hopefully, this is useful to you. Thank you for your attention.